this kind of stuff.
Once you get started.
We're live right now. Yeah.
Hello.
So here we are. I'm so excited. This is not my business page, so I'm not getting any views right now, but that's okay. Because everybody's here.
Hey. Yeah, we're so excited to be supporting Lynda.
Hey, there's somebody there. Who are you? Let us know who it is. That's Patty. Hi, Patty. Patty, we're getting ready. I'm going to be speaking in a few minutes, and then after me is going to be Greg Reid. And I'm so excited to have Greg speak here. You know, he's so wonderful, right?
Incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brenda volunteers at Seek or Knock, and her and her husband has volunteered there a lot. And I'm so excited to be here. You guys, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set my camera up, and then we'll be ready when it's time. And yeah. Oh, let's see how we do this. So it's kind of in the way. Guys, bring us all.
Awesome. I'm excited to get to start.
Good luck.
Hey, you're live right now.
Yeah.
Oh.
I didn't know it was live.
Oh, but it's facing this way.
Yeah, it's gonna be facing this way. Okay, I was worried about people there. I was worried about. Okay.
It was like one of these things.
Okay, so I'll be like.
Plus.
Yeah.
a lot of them showed up. But so excited here to support you with loving joy. Thank you so much for Patty, and hi Lynda. I'm seeing people here from the person who actually was the very, very start of my journey is here tonight, and I'm so excited that she's here. And then she helped me lead me to the path of the next person who was the next part of my journey. And I'm going to be sharing all of this on Transformation Tuesday. Rather be with you than, you know, you're so funny. So Transformation Tuesday, I'm going to share my story, and I'm going to do it every Tuesday until I have told this whole story of this transformation that I have made, which has been absolutely amazing. And as Alexis, yep. So the people here from Secret Knot that are here tonight, we have about 10 of them showed up. So I want to thank them so much for being out here. We have from Stegela Success Mastery, Dela Cruz is my coach, business coach, and he's been helping me with all of this, everything that I'm doing. And I want to tell you, the best part of his coaching that I love more than you will get anywhere else is that he talks to me every single day on the phone. Every day. You will not find that with any other coach. That alone, oh my God, has been absolutely incredible for me. But you know, I truly believe that we go through things for a reason. Everything that we do in our life, everything that happens is for a reason. And everything you're doing today is leading to something else later that you don't even know what it is yet. But be excited for it, because even if you're going through turmoil right now, just know that that turmoil is going to be a lesson learned later. I've gone through a lot of ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs. And I'm so excited to be where I am today, though. And I'm excited to be doing the launch. I think we're going to go on any minute now. I'm always ready. I'm always ready. I don't know if they're ready, but I'm ready. So you guys, it'll be just another minute, I hope. You know, I'm not in charge of when people go on. Hi, McKay. Hi, McKay. It's so good to see you here. Yes, like just knowing that every single step that you're taking today is going to lead to something great later. But you won't discover that until you get there. You can't push it. You can't make things happen. Hello? You can't make it happen. I mean, when I say that, I don't mean that you can't make things happen, but I mean you can't rush them. You can't rush them to happen. I've gone through so many things this last 2.5 years, a lot of good things, a lot of bad things, and all of it's led me to where I am today. If I didn't go through those hard times, I wouldn't be here today. Trust me. If I didn't go through those hard times, I would not be here today. Because life is not easy. We all have rough things in our lives. Some have things that are harder than others. But we can't judge ourselves based on the difficulties that they have in their life, right? We can't, oh, hey, we're getting ready. There he is!
Good evening, everyone. How's it going? Yes. Welcome. Excellent. All right, guys, gather around. We are so excited that we're all here tonight. We're all mingling. Don't worry, you'll have more time to mingle afterwards. It's going to be so much fun. Who's going to be winning the tic-tac-toe? So tonight, whoever wins the tic-tac-toe is going to be a trip for 4 to I believe it's, where is it, DC? I believe it's Cancun, Mexico. So it's a trip, no, the flight's not included. Flight's not included, just only the hotel. Alright, so make sure you want to win that prize. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for joining us at Stegela Networking Mixer, as well as the Living Live grand opening. Yes. So just so you guys didn't know, Stegela Success Mastery, we are a business coaching, mentorship, mastermind, all the above. And Lynda West is one of our dear friends who came to us and joined our group, and we started from very scratch. And she'll tell you guys her story, but it's just such an honor to have her be part of us, and us to be part of her journey. And so I'm just really excited to see what she has, what she's becoming, and what she offers to the world. So Lynda, we're gonna have you go and speak. Come on up, everybody, everyone. Welcome Lynda West.
Okay, thank you. First of all, thank you guys so much for coming out here. As I look out in the crowd, I see the very first person that helped me start this journey, Liz Stone. I don't know where she is right now, but she's talking. Liz, I'm talking up here, girl. But Liz Stone was my life coach. Liz, please just walk through the crowd. But Liz Stone was my life coach, and she is the person who helped me start this journey. And I used to get, before I met Liz, I was scared to walk into a room with this many people, first of all, because people might ask me what I do. And I didn't want to have to say it because I had no idea what I did. So Liz helped me through that journey. And then the next one that I met after that was Greg Reid. Greg Reid. Now Liz said, we were at an event, and Liz says, you have to go to his event, Secret Knock. And I was like, oh my God, that's so expensive. I can't spend that much money. There's no way I can do it. You have to go. When your life coach says you have to go, you have to go. Because your life coach knows what lies ahead for you. You don't. So I attended Secret Knock, and I met Greg, and that just blew me away. And I read one of his books, and the book is called 3 Feet from Gold. He's got it here today. I'm sure he'll be giving one of those away tonight. You guys stick around for his talk because he has several books that he's going to be giving away. But I read that book, and that was like another aha, a click in my head that said, you are so much more than you're giving yourself credit for. Now you have to learn how to step into it. And that's the journey I've been on through this last 2.5 years. I know Amanda DeConing is here, and Amanda has seen me. Amanda, where are you? Shout out, girl. She's over here, right over here. Amanda has seen me. I've known Amanda for a little over 4 years. And when I left my corporate job 2 years, 7 months, 3 days ago, I said, I'm going to do everything. Because I had, in my mind, I had been locked up. The key had been thrown away for 51 years. I was finally ready to do something different with my life, and so nothing was going to stop me from doing everything with my life. Now, luckily, I've had a lot of ups and downs, more downs than ups lately, as far as the business goes. But I started the Very Best Chocolate Fest. I did Brawn for Brains. Did you remember? We did Brawn for Brains, and that was very short-lived. I think that was like 3 weeks long. We did the Lemon Zest and Garlic Fest. I did the Nonprofit Speaker Series. I did, oh my gosh, you name it, I did it because I had been locked up for so long and I wanted to do everything. What has happened though in the last 2.5 years, it was very important for me to do everything because I had to realize that you cannot do everything in order to be successful. You have to focus. And I love the acronym, follow one course until successful. So that's where I am today. Living Live has been birthed from 2.5 years of learning who Lynda is, what kind of impact Lynda can make on the earth. And I am helping people become influencers and leaders in their field so that they too can make the impact that they are meant to make while they're here. Yeah! Chills from myself. You guys, I've been on this journey, and when I first did a live video, which was the very first day it became available on my phone, which was in March of last year, I was like, hooray, I can do a live video. Why was I so excited to do that? Because some of you know, I sing happy birthday every single day on Facebook. Some of you know my story about Brian Gogger, a young man who has cerebral palsy, who 3 years ago asked me to do a video. I was terrified to do it, but Ryan asked, and I said yes. So I did it. The next day, Ryan said, I liked your video so much. Will you do one for me? Every day. And I was like, every day? And I, of course, said yes to Ryan. I couldn't say no. But at the time, we didn't have live video. I had to do a video. I had to download it to my computer. Then I had to upload it back up. And I had to wait and wait and wait and wait till it uploaded to my computer. I did that for almost 2 years before live video came out. So when live video came out, I was like, oh my God, look how much time I get to save. I can still do Ryan's video, but I can save time. And that was the whole thing for me. So I started doing live videos, and what happened? Lo and behold, my confidence started to increase and increase and increase, that I can be standing here today in front of some people that I would never have stood in front of 3 years ago. Never.
Not a girl. Not a girl.
So just to be able to be in this room with you guys, and then to be able to be in front of you, I don't know what my future holds, but I can tell you, it holds a lot. And I'm out here to make a huge impact, and I'm hoping that you guys want to come along with me. So, let's do this. If you would like to have a virtual coffee date with me, break out your cell phone. So just pretend like you want to and break out your cell phone. That'll just break out your cell phone, you guys. I'm excited because I have signed up with Mobility, and so I have that like little V card thing that everybody has, you know, 76626 and something, you know. So I have one, and it's dial. Go to your text message and dial 76626 and put the word decide. Decide. You've made a decision to focus on that one thing. That one thing is that your course until you are successful. So if you've decided, oh, I have a question in the back. Alexis, yes. 76626. The word decide. I don't know if it's going to work, so someone let me know if it works.
It's working.
Yay! It's brand new, so you guys out there too, 76626, decide. But thank you guys so much for being here and helping me launch my business. Out of all those things I've ever done, I never launched anything. So it's cool because I know this is the thing I'm supposed to be doing. I'm finally here, and I'm here ready to make a change.
Go. Get it.
Yes. Woo! Thank you so much. We're doing something else. Hold on a second. We're doing something. Happy birthday. It's anybody's birthday today. Oh, that's right. Ribbon cutting.
Ceremonial.
Oh, what did I do?
All right.
Did we say something? Woo!
The official launch of Living Live.
Thank you guys so much.
Why did you just Greg?
Next up, we have Greg Reid. I don't have his bio with me, but I can tell you a lot about Greg Reid just from memory. First of all, Greg's written more than 2 books, more than 50 books. Greg spoke at the United Nations recently. He is co-founder of Secret Knock, and now he has another venture called Wealth Hack, where he is interviewing billionaires from around the world. He has people that can join him on this Wealth Hack. That's not what he's going to talk about tonight, but I just think it's so cool. I attended one of his events called Prosperity Camp, which we're doing it again next year. And at Prosperity Camp, he brought those billionaires to us so that we could ask them questions and they would answer our questions right there. And you know, when you talk to people, it's not about the money. And I gotta tell you that Greg asked a question of every single one of them. I don't remember exactly what the question was, but it was basically, do you follow your heart or do you follow the money? And 90% of them were follow the heart. So with that said, I want to introduce Greg Reid.
Just do me a favor real quick. Raise your hand if you've ever heard me speak before. It's about, and then raise your hand if you have not heard me speak before. Wonderful. Well, my name's Greg. I'm a local San Diego native, born and raised in the mean streets of a place called Dela. I'm sure you've heard of it. It was a really rough childhood growing up, I gotta tell you. My childhood was so hard. One time, the truth is, the gardener didn't show up and my dad made me mow the lawn.
Oh, no.
I'm still in therapy on it. And for those of you who don't know my history, I've been published now in about 60 books, 45 languages, 5 motion pictures, and I'm just getting started. And I had a great mentor. His name is Charlie Tremendous Jones. And he had a quote. He says that you are the same today as you'll be in 5 years, except for 2 things. The people you meet and the books you read. It's who you hang out with and it's what you put in your head that determines your character as a person. In high school, if you're around smokers, you're a smoker. If you're around jocks, you're a jock. Same thing applies today. If we hang around people that complain, gripe, and moan, that becomes our dialogue. If we are around people that are positive and solution searching, then that too becomes a conversation that plays in our mind. Through the little bit of time we're going to have, I'm going to share with you some amazing people I've met along journey, but also some product you should have in your personal success library. Charlie did this book. It's an audiobook called Succeeding with What You Have. It seems like so many people get caught up in something called a bad case of the one size. That means I'm going to take action once I get the big break or once I get the kids out of the house. And the best time to take action is the moment that it strikes you, because 80% of every single thing that we need is already within our sphere of influence. Would anyone like a free copy of this program right here? Now, one of the first books that I had an opportunity to do with Charlie was called Positive Impact. It's about making a positive impact in people's lives and the people that have made one in yours. Would anyone close by me like a free copy of this book? Psyched you out on that one, didn't I?
Run faster, Jen.
This one I did just recently. It's kind of cool. It's called Everything is Subject to Change.
There you go.
And when I wrote this book, what was really cool about it is I wrote this product and I put out an email to about 35,000 people and said, hey, I got a new book coming out. And another author calls me up and says, you can't do that. If you use the title of that book, I'm going to sue you. I said, well, the book's amazing. Just the title can change. I go, holy crap, everything's subject to change. The name of the book is Everything's Subject to Change. There you go. From there, I did another book. It's called The Gifted Journey. It's about taking the quest along life's journey to make sure that you're enjoying it along the ride. And then over here is another little book about ambition, about getting off your backside and doing something. It seems like everyone has a bad case of the one size, and we also have a bad case of the used-tos. And the used-tos is, I used to have a nicer house. I used to have, right? Trust me, I used to have a hot wife. Not so much anymore. So it's something different. So the whole idea is about getting off your backside, taking action with your ambition. And then this little book right here is one of my favorites. It's called Footsteps of the Fearless.
I'm in that book.
I know you are in this book. And the reason I like Footsteps of the Fearless, it's about taking action. There's a coffee mug at Disneyland, and it says, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? You ever heard that before? That's not the big thing. Here's the big question. What would you do if you didn't mind what other people thought?
Yeah.
The biggest thing that holds us back is what people think. And here's the funny thing. No one's thinking about you. They're dealing with their own situations, trust me. But the funny thing is we're so caught up on what other people are thinking, it gets in the way of us taking action. And the whole idea is it's the action behind the attraction that makes our dreams come true. Yes, you got to think it. Yes, you got to feel it. But ultimately, you got to get off your backside and you got to do it. When the law of attraction came out, the secret is always about what you think about naturally comes to be. I'm going to give you the truth of the matter. You do not attract in life what you want. You only attract more of who you already are. Have you ever met someone who gets in fights all the time and they attract more fights, but you have no idea how that happens? Or someone who gets a good-looking spouse and you wonder how they get that, right? The whole idea is that they're looking for it, they're attracting, and they're bringing into their existence more of who they already are. A buddy of mine wrote this book. It's called Habitudes. Eric Swanson. It's about combining your habits and your attitude to have a happy, productive life. Yeah, you're waving right there. I'm going to give that to you. And then another friend of mine did this one recently. It's called Pendulum. Trust me, someone wants to take this out of my hand.
That thing,
Pendulum's a great book.
awesome.
And I'll tell you the reason why.
I love it, Jeff.
He believes this philosophy that everything in life is a pendulum. Imagine a swing, and there's cycles of life. Back in the late 60s, it was all a we society. Remember? Make love, not war, everyone coming together. And then the 80s and 90s became a me society. And that's where everyone's driving a brand new red Fiero and taking care of themselves and looking out for their best self-interest. And then the 2000s became a greed society where everything self-imploded. Well, according to the pendulum, we're going back to that 60s and 70s where people are coming together. Have you noticed that people are following gurus less and less, but they're following movements and tribes? And the whole idea is to come together as a collective, because together, that's where the miracle happens. It's about taking action with the right people and the right things suddenly fall into place. This one's called Walking with the Wise. It's the first book I ever did and co-authored with Mark Victor Hansen, who did Chicken Soup for the Soul, Brian Tracy, Zig Ziglar, all these amazing people. Without me going too far, all right, there you go, I'll give that one to you. And then for those of you who are not familiar with my work, I'll give you a little bit of background. Recently, in 2008, I was very fortunate to get a golden opportunity, so to speak. You see, in 1908, have you guys ever heard this book called Think and Grow Rich?
Yes.
Everyone knows Napoleon Hill, right?
Yes.
And here's the story behind the story. Napoleon Hill was a young, aspiring magazine reporter at 23 years old.
Better get up there.
By the way,
Grab it.
you know what? I love you, but wait. I'm gonna give you something even special. You're good. You're good. You get out of here, buddy. I got a good-looking gal right here. When Napoleon Hill went on this journey, he was a 23-year-old aspiring magazine reporter. He gained access to the richest dude in the world, Andrew Carnegie. It was supposed to be a 30-minute interview. Turns out to be 3 full days and nights. At the end of the interview, Carnegie says, "I like you, and here's an opportunity." He said, "Work for me for free for 20 years, and I'll send you on a mission to meet my friends." Napoleon Hill says, "Not only will I accept that, but I promise I'll complete that task." Well, here's the funny thing that most people don't know is that Carnegie made that same offer to over 250 men before Napoleon Hill accepted it. Most people had a bad case of the Eustace or the one size, and they let their stinking thinking stop them. You know what the number one thing that holds people back in life and success? Their big butt. I'd go do that, and it's that butt that stops us. It's always that stinking thinking. Well, when Napoleon Hill went on this journey and interviewed those amazing people, he wrote them in magazines. And the Napoleon Hill Foundation went into the archives and actually got a copy of all those magazine articles that no one's ever read before. And you, young lady, now own it. And along this quest, it was amazing. He sat down and interviewed these people to find out exactly what they did. And they want to know if there's a blueprint, a formula for success. And that formula kept coming down to these 17 principles. But you know what the biggest one is? It's enthusiasm. And one of the greatest quotes ever is, you know, successful people go from failure to failure, setback to setback, without the loss of enthusiasm. That's right. It's a matter of making the most of every golden opportunity and realizing even your setbacks have got a blessing in disguise. Well, that was in 1908. In 2008, 100 years later, the president and family of Napoleon Hill Foundation wrote a very similar letter of introduction that Mr. Carnegie wrote to Napoleon Hill, and they gifted it to me. And they gave me an opportunity to go on a treasure map, so to speak, to sit down and go face to face, knees to knees with today's top icons to find out exactly what they did. And we did it based on the book that Lynda was talking about called 3 Feet from Gold. It's a story about a gold miner who literally gave up 3 feet away from the biggest strike in U.S. history. And we realized that the only thing that holds people back is stickability. You know, first there's a dream, and then there's a challenge, and then comes victory. Unfortunately, everyone quits in the challenging times. But it's the people that keep going, that keep persevering, they're the ones that come out on top that we tell stories about. No, you cannot copy. And I realized for myself, do we have the stickability? And when I was doing 3 Feet from Gold and interviewing these amazing people, who here would like to sit down with the guy who started NASCAR, or string theory, or Miss America, or Mrs. Field Cookies? I invited hundreds of people. No one ever came. No one ever came. They all had a bad case of the one size. Everyone had an excuse why they couldn't strap themselves to an airplane. And I thought to myself, well, I'll be that one example that keeps going. Well, after this had a great success, I'll never forget, one of the greatest interviews I did was a guy named John Schwartz who invented string theory. Everyone always waits for the golden nugget for a motivational speaker. Here's what it is, so pay attention to this. The guy who invented string theory gave me the greatest message I ever had. I said, what do successful people do different than others? And he looked at me and said, that's easy. He said, successful people seek counsel, but failures listen to opinion. Successful people seek counsel, failures listen to opinion. What's the difference? Opinion is based on ignorance, lack of knowledge, inexperience, like maybe a family friend who's never done what you're about to venture upon. Counsel is based on wisdom, knowledge, mentorship. People have paved the way. If you go to a family friend and say you're going to write a book, they might talk you out of it. Know why? They've never done it. But if you go to Mark Victor Hansen, who wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul, sold 500 million copies, he'll say, hey, before you get started, here's what you need to know, and give you counsel based on wisdom, knowledge, mentorship. John Short said, if we would spend our activities only seeking counsel and ignoring people's opinion, that's the day your life would change. That is why we started the whole Secret Knock movement. The concept is we're the weirdest event in the world. You got to give us $3,000, but we won't tell you where it is or who will be there. That's what the deal is. And the whole idea is to parade the actual human beings who have done what everyone else is talking about. And I realized for myself is that people want to be in the room. They all want that proximity, but they're not willing to do. So here's a big question when I meet someone. I'll go up to someone and say, what is it that you're working on and what is it that you need? And then the next question is more important. Where are you willing to pay for it? Because here's the thing. Everyone wants, but not everyone's willing to bleed. When someone comes up to me and says, man, I want a Lamborghini bad, I go, no, you don't. And they go, why is that? Because you don't have one. The realities are, if you wanted it bad enough, you'd find a way to see it through. So what we want to do is be very clear in our speaking, in our conversations with ourselves and the universe, so then it can start happening. And speaking of that, Napoleon Hill did this little book. It's called Making Miracles. It's a little gem that most people have never seen before. Would anyone like a free copy of? Now you finally got it. You're right there. I know you're right there. That's what you would say.
Just
all right, this is Treasury. Wait. I'll give you this one.
Celeste.
Okay, never mind. You don't want it. Okay, you can have it. And this is one of my latest little releases. It's called Sex, God, and Greed. I call it a bathroom book. You can read it in one sitting. Right? This is about as much as I know on either one of those topics, so I thought it'd be pretty good. Young lady, you can come in here. You're not a young lady. You can come in here and have this one. And it's interesting, when I was doing this project, what I did is I deduced 300-page books down to just one page each. What do you guys want to hear about? Sex, God, or greed? Pick something.
Sex.
Sex. Wow, okay, we know this kind of group. Alright.
Come on, we're into
So here it is. Sex. The innate instinct that drives all living creatures. What if our desire for sex had nothing to do with the act itself, yet more of a desire to live forever? The fountain of youth, so to speak. Examination. Let's agree that we're accumulation of our mother's and father's genes. Do we agree to that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's also agree that we're a portion of our grandparents and their grandparents' composite as well. Do we agree?
Yes.
Well, if this was true, and we're an embodiment of trillions of cells that were passed from one generation to the next, could this explain why we have those deja vu moments when we feel we remember something from a time before? Perhaps it's one of those trillion cells that were triggering one of our ancestors' experience that sparked a memory passed down from years gone by. What if our sixth sense was nothing more than the DNA of those who walked before us and were handed down to our living bodies today to guide us to be safe and learn from our forefathers? Sex truly is our fountain of youth. Pretty different, right?
Yeah.
And the whole idea was to kind of go down deep into those three categories. Now, like I said, I've been published now in about 60 books, 45 different languages. Recently, I've had the opportunity to speak at the United Nations, also the Pentagon, but I got to tell you my greatest little thing, the Playboy Mansion. I got to speak at the Playboy Mansion last year. It was a blast, and I'll tell you the reason why. I got to give Buzz Aldrin, the astronaut, his Lifetime Achievement Award.
Wow.
And if we're a reflection of the people we hang out with, and the audience happen to be people like Sir Richard Branson and P. Diddy. And it was really cool for that moment in time to stand on stage with somebody that you've idolized your entire career and give them something that they've truly honored and have in their own life. And when I went to the United Nations, that was a great moment. But I gotta tell you, standing next to your heroes, that's one of the greatest experience I ever had. And people always ask me, how do you do it? You know, how do you get on all these stages? How do you book $20,000 speaking gigs? How do you get published in all these books? Well, I'm going to do something that I've not done before. On July 25th, at my house in Carlsbad, I'm going to do a one-day training where I'm going to teach everyone the exact blueprint of what I do. Every single thing is a system. Understand this. There's an exact system, and if you follow that system, you can have the same results. It's like baking a cake. So on July 25th, I'm going to open up my own Rolodex for the first time ever and share with people what it is. For those who like to participate, you can see my gal Lizzie, and you can also see Alexis, and they'd be glad to set you up. But the main thing is this. You got to become an expert in your field if you want to stand out in your chosen field of endeavor. Does that make sense? And the way that you do that is becoming an authority. And the easiest way to become an authority is to become an author. Whether it's a blog, whether it's a book, whether it's a post, It's getting your words so other people are reading it, and I'm going to teach you exactly how to do that. And then you leverage that opportunity for more opportunity. I'm the king of leverage. You know, people always ask me, why is it that I give away so many books when I speak? The truth is, they didn't sell so good. All right, so after I did 3 Feet from Gold, I did a follow-up book. It was one of my favorite ones called Stickability. It's a power to persevere. And the first cat I interviewed was a guy named Marty Cooper. And you don't know him, but he invented this, the cellular phone. And I sat down with Marty. I said, Marty, what does stickability mean to you? And here's his answer. He said, stickability has to be parallel with flexibility. If you're not willing to adapt, if you're not willing to adjust, you'll get stuck. And he told a story about a spider monkey. He said in the rainforest, the spider monkey is the most quick, nimble creature. We can't harpoon it, spear it, catch it, too wiry. One hunter figured it out. He took a heavy log, drilled a tiny hole, dropped a peanut inside, and walked away. The monkey would smell the nut, come down, reach his hand inside, and grab a hold of the nut. His fist becomes so big he can't pull it back out and become anchored to the log. Now all he's got to do is let go, but he thinks that nut is nutrition, it's saving him. The hunter comes by an hour later, captures the elusive spider monkey. Now, the big question is, are you holding on to your own nut in life? But it could be in that form of that job, or a car, or a deal, or a relationship, or fear. And what we think is saving us and protecting us right now, just like the monkey thought the nut was, could be the single thing that's leading to your own demise. Sometimes we have to have the courage to simply let go so we can pull our hand out to live to fight another day. Look, I've been along this journey and I've met a lot of people, and I can tell you one thing about everyone in this room. Even though I don't know you, I do know this about you. For years, everyone comes to you for counsel. Everyone comes to you because they think you're the person who's got everything together. But you're just like that duck on top of the water. You look all beautiful. Underneath, you're freaking out like the rest of us, right? And you've been taking care of your friends and your family and your peers and your coworkers, and that's cool. Know why? Because you're a leader. But it's time to start getting selfish. It's time to start living to become the greatest form of yourself so you can become the greatest form of yourself. I invite you right now to draw an imaginary line in the sand. And you step across and you say, it's my turn. For years I've been watching other people not as smart as me have more success. That day ends today. You draw a line in the sand and you say, it is my turn. I've got greatness inside of me. I will not take it to my grave. You draw a line in the sand and you step across and you say, it is my turn. I will fill my own cup first and feed the world with what flows over. I love you, family. I love you, friends, but it's my turn. You draw a line in the sand and you step across and you say, it is my turn. And when people say, you've had enough, or tell you to quit, that's when you kick it in the most. Napoleon Hill had a greatest quote. He says, our greatest success will always come just one step beyond your greatest setback. So when you want to say die and throw in the towel, kick it in the most. You draw a line in the sand and you step across and say, it's my turn. And when you want to say I'm done, understand this. You've got greatness inside of you. And you can literally be right now just 3 feet from goal. Come on.
Woo! Cool, wasn't that amazing? So that's just a glimpse of Greg. That was only 20 minutes. I've heard him speak for an hour. He's really amazing, and you guys, I hope that you have a chance to see Lizzie somewhere. I don't know where Lizzie is. Lizzie and Alexis is somewhere. Here's Lizzie and Alexis. I'm going to be at the author event. Stephen's going to be there as well. And we're ready. It's my turn.
Nice.
It's my turn. It's my turn. It's my turn. Thank you guys so much. We're not done yet.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Very, very cool. Love it. Greg, you're an amazing speaker. We're a rock. So give it up for Greg. So also I want to announce tonight here that we just got our whole paperwork for our nonprofit, Yes. It's called Young Entrepreneur Society. We're going to be in high schools coming up here in the fall. So if you're interested in speaking at high schools, we're going to be at different high schools all across San Diego. Go and see Jeff Rowland over here. But I have Marissa, Jeff, Whoever really wants to commit full time to yes, come on up here real quick. Come on. So yes, once again, yes is a Young Entrepreneur Society. We're going to be in high school clubs. So we're going to be every single high school in San Diego. Not yet, but we're going to. But right now we have about 9 high schools who committed to having us be part of that. We're going to have a high school club and free food and empower kids into entrepreneurship. So we're going to tell them school sucks without telling them school sucks. And so if you want to be part of that, for sure. But I want to do a quick photo here, just to have a little quick announcement. Like, yeah, we're going to do this. Yeah. All right, guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Go ahead and keep networking. Go ahead and get those tic-tac-toes filled out. See Lizzie for the events for Greg Reid. Love you guys. Keep networking. Get it.
Congratulations, Lynda.
Oh, thank you. I did it. Oh, wait. Let's see here. That's it. That's it, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. And Patty, that was funny, huh? I noticed I had my shadow there on the what do you call that thing? The step and repeat, and you could see me while Greg was talking. But thanks again so much for being here and witnessing this launch.
We need a picture of the three of us.
We're going to picture all 3 of us right here.